This morning I've got Richard Keeler with us, and we're going to be talking about business health checks today. So it's going to be quite an interesting one for everybody. Are you looking forward to it?
Yes.
Yes.
With bated breath.
Well, we're nearly at the end of the first quarter of the year. Well, yeah, the start of the first quarter. Start of March.
We're getting there.
Yeah. And it's a really good opportunity for you to be looking at your business. So, Richard, do you want to give us a bit of a brief outline? And I've got some questions for you, which have been sent through.
Yep. So, I guess the first question really is, why would you do health checks?
Exactly.
And the important thing for any scale business, doesn't matter whether you're a micro business or a corporate, you have to review what your progress is. You have to review where you're going and where you want to get to. So, and it's important to detach yourself from the business, from the operational activities, so that you can get a clear picture.
So really, I mean, everybody says that they're bound to around work on your business rather than in your business, which is great because you have to do that. And we always recommend that here, that you take some time out. But taking that time out is never more important than at least once a quarter, right? So it might be a day, it might be a couple of hours, it could be anything. But as long as you're giving yourself that time to have a look at it, and really, so you're saying it's more of that reflection piece, and then the strategy to move forward.
Yeah. So, and the purpose of the health check is to make you actually stop and do that, rather than just, I don't have time to look at this. Which is my normal response. I don't have time for that, but we need to make time, and the health check crystallizes for us an action which causes us to reflect.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. So it leads into the first question which I had here, which is, how frequently should I conduct a business health check?
Well, it depends what part of the health of your business you're looking at. So financially, probably each quarter when you do your BAS, when you're doing your, or if you don't do a BAS, when you just get to the end of the quarter and you're assessing how much tax you need to put aside for the end of the year. They're good points to look at your financial performance. General health of the business, which includes your health and well-being, that is probably something you should do seriously annually. But you may want to do it every 6 months, just to put aside that bit of time, just for general reflection on how you're progressing in those other areas. But as with everything, the financial is the sharp end.
Absolutely.
If we're not sustainable financially, we shouldn't be in business.
That's so true. And I was at a Zero workshop yesterday with Jess from JK Bookkeeping, and she actually said, when you're doing your financials, try to do them once a week, and don't let it blow out. So that's your making sure you're receipting and everything, all your ledgers and everything are right. And that gives you a really good indication then for when you come up to the quarter of how am I looking financially. So you're not spending all this time on it, because we don't all have time to do it.
No, and it is time consuming. I do my accounts every fortnight, and it takes me half an hour, which isn't a lot. But when I do it, I'm looking at what my position is in terms of how much liquidity I've got for tax payments and things like that. So that is very, very relevant.
And that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, just to have a look, know where you're going, and then when it comes to that once a quarter, you're already ahead of the game. So this whole take time out for yourself isn't so daunting. Just take a bit of time on that. Somebody has actually asked me here, what should I be tracking? So the right KPIs for me. So for those of you who don't know what KPI is, key performance indicator, they just kind of measure your business.
So obviously the financial is probably the most important. So the KPIs, so it depends on your business, but generally it's what is your operating margin. So if you look at your sales revenues, your total income, ex taxes and GST, and you then expense from that your direct costs, so whether it's labour, inputs, fuel if you're running contracting, machinery costs, if you take out all of those direct costs that are core to your operation, then look at what you've got left.
Right.
And that is the figure you should be tracking, or the percentage you should be tracking, because if that is declining, it means inflation's got you, and that's very relevant at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's say you're a cafe business, food business, your cost of goods should be somewhere in the order of 28 to 32%. If that starts to grow, then you need to start looking at what your input costs are and putting your prices up.
Yeah, and it's really simple to say, okay, so my costs are getting higher, I need to put all my prices up. That's really simple to say and quite easy to do, because you're just literally changing something in the figure. But how does that then affect you in the marketplace? How are your customers going to relate to that? You might need to look at some other expenses that you've got. So it could be that your coffee is, in the sake of a cafe, might be costing you, $100, and you have a word with the coffee manufacturer and say to them, look, this is just not sustainable. I'm going to switch coffee manufacturers. I can get a better price somewhere else. And it is about the negotiation as well. Yeah. Because nobody wants to lose business. So you're talking to your main manufacturers and say, well, look, I'm going to switch. And do your research before you do that, obviously, because you don't want to just, I'm going to switch and throw
if you're a contractor and you're running machines with a lot of diesel, your supplier is not going to listen to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you can probably work out a better way to do things.
You may be able to.
Rather than go to this place, you might work it out so you're doing shorter journeys around.
Yeah. Other KPIs, you can base them on testing yourself against industry benchmarks. You can, when you're looking at general health of your business, your KPIs may be more to do with measuring year on year what your reflection is, so that you can say, okay, well, we were pretty satisfied with this area back there, but we're not satisfied with it now, so what's slipped? So that's a KPI. The other thing may be number of customers. If you've got targets, if you've been strategic and you set yourself goals to achieve, then how are you achieving against those goals? Have you increased your customer base? Have you captured more of your customers' data? Are you getting more return customers? Those sorts of things are all relevant specifically to a business, but to every business. So you've got to look at your own business and go, what are the things that drive my business for growth and for profitability, and they're the things I need to focus on, so that I can set myself targets and then they become my KPIs.
Yeah, and you talk about increase of customers. So this could be as well that you're building in your strategic marketing plan as well into this to help attract those customers. And that can seem quite daunting as well at times, but it's about taking the time.
It is about putting the time into doing that. But again, every time you step back from your business, you gain something from it.
Yeah.
So it's not just words. It's important not just to be at the coalface all the time. And businesses that grow and develop are people standing back and looking at it and going,
Yeah, and we're doing a thing in Denmark at the moment, which is to help out the businesses there with a shopper review. So this might be something that you need to go on in your business, or somebody to contact you who isn't a family member, isn't a friend. It needs to be somebody completely outside of that. I mean, you can give us a call, we can do it for you, and essentially do a review as a customer would see your business. Because that's really important, but don't ever take it personally, because this is what your customers see. So if we
take it on board,
you've just got to take it. Yeah, exactly. You've got to take it on board. Don't be us with a stick. We're just telling you the facts. So yeah, that might help. Okay. Question number 3 on here is: there are so many industry changes. How can I stay on top of them?
Subscribe to our newsletter. We generally tell you when there's something new going on. What other?
Call us, right?
Yeah, we've got industrial relations changes going on at the federal level at the moment. They've already introduced one swag. There's a lot coming through in the next 12 months. You've just got to watch that space. Then you've got to look at, okay, how do I know what impacts on me, on what I've got to be taking care of? And if that's a question in your mind, it's probably a good idea to talk to us because we try to stay on top of those things ourselves.
Yeah, and we do. You can give us a call here anytime. And you mentioned some changes. Obviously, there's some bits of big ones coming out, but I'm just going to say straight away, if you've got any staff or any employees, domestic violence leave.
Yeah, for casuals. So casuals never been entitled to leave other than long service leave accrual before, but the family and domestic violence leave applies to casuals as well. So this is new ground, and we haven't yet seen this start to play out yet.
So that's something which you need to put into your quarterly review, is having a look at that, making sure you've got that written into their contracts and they know about it and you know about it.
Yeah.
I've got here, I'm a sole trader and I've got no staff. Do I have to look at HR stuff?
Not really. You have to look at workplace health and safety stuff, unless you use subcontractors. If you use subcontractors, they can cross the line into becoming quasi-employees. You've got to have workers' comp for them.
Yeah.
You may have to pay superannuation for them, but it's a may, not a definite. So you, again, probably wise to talk to us.
So did you just say, hang on, if you've got a contractor, you might have to pay superannuation for them, even though they're a subcontractor?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Why would that be? I know this isn't part of the topic today, but...
If a contractor is providing predominantly labour to you and they're a sole trader, there's every chance they're going to be classified for superannuation guarantee purposes as an employee.
Yeah, so this doesn't affect the person who, let's say I've got an electrician coming in and he's doing some work, that doesn't count. It's if you're constantly working for the same company. A lot of this stuff happens normally in the construction industry.
Well, quite typically,
where there's labourers coming in or a carpenter coming, a chippy coming in, but they're a subby. If they're only doing work for one person, they kind of class as an employee.
A big grey danger area in this would be NDIS, people delivering NDIS services where they're sole traders. They've got an ABN and you're paying them to deliver a service, and it's an all labour service. That's a serious risk. So if you're in that category again, you should be talking to us.
Yeah, so. But we diversify. Sorry. My final question today, unless anybody's got any questions about business reviews, people talk about risk management. What exactly is it?
Risk management. Well, things like we've just talked about. You engage with other people. What are your risks? You sell hardware and materials, and people load it onto their cars or trailers in your yard. You have a sort of a duty of care as to making sure that they're loading safely.
Right.
Things like that. Yeah. So risk, it again varies business to business, but you got to look at risk management is looking at the things that can harm you, whether it's loss of customers, whether it's legal action, whether it's not complying with legislation, or whether it's broken glass in the morning because the drunks walk past your shop window. They're all risks to your business, but they're all things that you can manage, reduce, diminish, or mitigate. So there are processes you can go through for risk management.
Risk management.
We'll go back to that one.
We'll go back to this one as well. The best way to do your financial planning.
Financial planning and forecasting. Looking at your history is a good start. Looking at what you want to achieve, setting goals is the biggest start. You can set quite ridiculous goals when you're financially forecasting and then you find you achieve them. So definitely worth doing. There are tools for it. Some of them are simple, some of them are complex. Yeah. But the important thing is setting the goals so that you can look at what the numbers do. So if I do this, what impact's it going to have on my numbers?
Awesome. Yeah. Look, I think that's kind of covered us quickly today. It is a business health check, which we've been talking about. It can be daunting, but give us a call because we can help you out. Look, we provide this service. It's a free service. You can get an hour with us and we can run through some stuff with you, just some checklist stuff. Help your business out. Give us a call. Richard's here. I'm here. You can just, call, mobile or mobile
Zoom.
number, Zoom. If you're in the middle of nowhere, Zoom us.
Yeah.
Hit us up through the website. Hit us up through any of our socials, and we can book something in for you. But that's really what you need to be doing at this time of the year. Awesome. So that's it for us today, and hope that helps.
Thank you.